The Fast API framework has become increasingly popular for building dynamic web applications and APIs in Python. And not everyone knows how to add email functionalities with it, or rather, the best way to do that. Hi, my name is David. I'm with the SendLayer team. In today's video, I'm going to show you the right way to implement email functionality into your Fast API application. And for this tutorial, I'm going to use the SendLayer Python SDK. So without wasting much time, let's jump right in.
First, install what you need. FastAPI UV-con to run the server, the SendLayer package to send the email, plus Pydantic settings and Ginger to watch that bit in square brackets next to Pydantic. It says email. That's what lets FastAPI check email addresses for you, and it's easy to miss. Your API key shouldn't sit in your code. Put it in a file called .env. Then add that file to gitignore so you don't push your key up to GitHub by accident. Do that now before you forget. Now let's read the key into the app. This class just lists what your app needs to run. If the key isn't there, the app won't start at all. That's deliberate. You'd far rather find out now than halfway through somebody signing up. Next, create the SendLayer client. Make it once and reuse it for every email you send. Now describe what a sign up looks like: an email address and a name. Because you typed email strat there, FastAPI checks the address for you. If someone sends you rubbish, they get a clear error back and your code never even runs. Now the endpoint. An endpoint is just a URL in your app that listens for requests, and this is how most people write it the first time. It looks fine and it will work when you're testing on your own, but it's the one thing you don't want to do. So what's wrong with it? The SendLayer package sits and waits for SendLayer to reply. That's about a second, sometimes two, and it does nothing else while it waits. Now, FastAPI handles all your requests on one loop. Picture one waiter looking after every table in the room. While that waiter stands still, nobody else gets served. I timed it. 5 people signing up at the same moment. Written that way, it took 7.5 seconds. They didn't happen together at all. They just queued up behind each other. And while that was going on, I asked the server for a simple health check on a completely different URL. It sat there for 7 seconds before it answered. So it isn't the email that's slow, it's your whole app. Move those same 5 cents off the loop and they finish in 1.5 seconds. So don't keep anyone waiting. Ask FastAPI for background tasks, hand it the job, and reply straight away. That 202 means accepted. You're telling whoever called that you've got it and you're dealing with it. And this is the job itself. Notice it says def, not async def. That's on purpose, and it matters more than it looks. Write def, and FastAPI runs your function on a separate thread well out of the way. So a slow send can't hold anything up. Write async def, and it runs back on that same busy loop, and you're right where you started. So keep it as a plain def. Look at the difference that makes. The reply goes out almost instantly, and the email leaves afterwards. There is one thing to watch. You've already told the caller everything's fine, so if the send fails, they'll never hear about it. Make sure you write it to your log. That's what it looks like when it goes wrong. Accepted came back, then the send failed a second later. Your log is the only place that knows. Sometimes you do want to wait, say you need the message ID back, so you can match this email up later on. For that, use run in thread pool. Same call, still off the busy loop, but this time you wait for the answer. So you've got 2 choices. If nobody's waiting on the results, use a background task. If you need that message ID, use run in thread pool. What you don't do is call it straight from an async def. Now, a Python quirk in the other SendLayer libraries, this field is called from. Python won't let you use that name because from is a word Python keeps for imports. So here you write sender instead. For a real email, you don't want HTML sitting in the middle of your Python. Put it in a template file instead. Point Ginger at the folder and switch autoscape on. Then, if somebody signs up with a funny name, it lands in your email as plain text and it can't break anything. The template is ordinary HTML with your values dropped in. Keep the styling on the tags themselves because plenty of email apps throw style sheets away. To attach a file, pass a list with the path and the type. SendLayer reads the file and encodes it for you. Keep the whole email under 10 megabytes. And remember, the message itself counts towards that. Now, when things break, every SendLayer error comes from SendLayer error. So catching that one catches all of them, then turn it into a proper answer. A 502 tells whoever called you that their request was fine and it was SendLayer that had the problem, right? Let's run it. Start your Vicon and add reload, so it restarts every time you save a file. Now, this is my favorite part. Go to /docs. FastAPI has built you a test page out of the code you already wrote. You don't need Postman, and you don't need to write a single call command. Click your sign up route and it opens up. There's the description you wrote and the shape of the request worked out from your model. Click, try it out, and that box becomes editable. Now put in real details, an email address you can actually check, and a name. I'll use mine and press execute, and there it is. 202 accepted, straight back. That's the real reply from your server, headers and all. Now look at your terminal. The message ID shows up a moment later once the email's really gone out, and that email is sitting in my inbox. And if the address is wrong, you get this back without writing a line of code for it. A 422, the field that's wrong and what's wrong with it. So before you put this live, never call the SDK straight from an async def. Write your background failures to a log because nothing else will, and keep your key in .env, not in your code.
So there you have it. We've successfully implemented email functionality in FastAPI along with testing the live API using the built-in Swagger API docs FastAPI support. I'll put a link to get started with SendLayer in the description section of this video. Also, I'm going to put a link out to a GitHub repo that contains the code snippets I used for this particular tutorial. I'll also link out to our developer documentation if you want to learn more about using our SDKs. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.